Alright, what is poppin', people? Today, I was feeling a little bit generous. I finally got a game. So there's this tournament going on for UU called UU Farm Premier League, which is basically just, hey, let's give a chance for some people maybe that, don't normally play UUPL or other, major team tournaments that feature UU, chance to play. And for, you know, little history lesson here, I used back in the great days when Black and White was the current gen, I was playing competitive Pokemon actively back then. I was like, oh god, I was like 13 years old. But I was farming people on the ladder, man. I was a UU and an Ubers maid once I like finally, diverged from OU. And I wanted to play UU in this gen. And it's a week 5 replay, but I finally got a game where I felt like I at least actually played competently. So I wanted to at least show some stuff off. I built this team with Faded Love. Shoutouts to the homie. Except originally the Raikou was a Pikachu. And then I thought to myself, yeah, I don't think my team is gonna be happy if I bring a Pikachu. Especially when we want to make sure that we win the week. Now, I actually don't remember. I think after we had played the game, or after I had played the game, I checked the week's progress, and I think that we might have already won the week after I posted my win. Also, wow, OBS is really unhappy with how loud I am. Holy shit. Let me see if I could... yeah, it's very professional. But, anyhow, I still wanted to make sure that I did what I could to win this game. So, I got a Calm Mind Protect Raikou, 2 attacks. Nasty Plot Togekiss with Roost. I got Fizdef Slowbro with Thunderwave. I got a just defensive Stealth Rock plus Toxic Spikes Nidoqueen. Scarf Mienshao with Aerial Ace, which, I mean, doesn't actually end up mattering this game, but could have mattered. He had a Heracross. And then we got the Ferroseed here, which is Spikes. So, from preview, the main thing that I was noting, obviously, is this team was super offensive. I knew it was going to be Sash and Polion with Stealth Rock. The main questions just became, who's his Scarfer? And then once we know that, what are the other Pokemon running? So what could be running a Scarf is Flygon, Victini, and Raikou. Technically Heracross could as well. But on these kinds of teams, you usually see Heracross with Sword Stance. So I just eliminated it from the conversation immediately. I know he'll probably lead off with one of these 3 as well, because if they're Scarf, then they can always pivot. And since I Protect Raikou, I get a free turn to scout that, right? So we lead Raikou, he leads Victini. And, as we said, I'm going to Protect, and he is going to U-turn here. Now, my mind immediately, unfortunately, decides, yes, that makes it Scarf. Or just Choiced, even. It could have been Choice Banded Victini, for all we know, with like a Scarf Flygon and then a Calm Mind Raikou. I'm going to say that I'm a Thunderbolt, and yeah, Beaker, I'll actually tank it. That's really good, because Raikou's going to be able to actually continue putting in a good amount of work, because I eat that up. So, my guess now goes to just saying, okay, Victini probably E-Belt, and he's going to switch here. So we just go for HV Ice, potentially catching the Flygon, at least getting some damage on the Raikou. And seeing the extra sensory here, seeing the fact that Raikou isn't shiny, which makes it so it can't be Aura Sphere, this pretty much says to me that this is the Scarfer, because there's no reason for this to be extra sensory otherwise, you feel me? So, we know this is Scarf. I was pretty certain E-Belt was going to be the item on this, and then that makes the Flygon Choice Banded, because it does not get Dragon Dance in this gen. So from here on out, we pretty much know the sets on the team, which just helps to play around. Now, I knew Victini would come out here, but I just really value the Spike, because in my game against Faded Love last week, I got very messed over by a critical hit that prevented me from having all 3 layers of spikes, which would have had a I lost the game because of a crit, pretty much. And, in this game I was just like, I know this dude is going to have a whole bunch of pivoting between, like, these 3. I want to limit that as much as I can. So, we get the spike up. And I know the Victini isn't too problematic anyway. So, now we go Slowbro. eat up the outrage from the Flygon, and this lets us go back to Ferroseed really easily, just to Leech Seed and then try to, you know, maybe set up more spikes. Throw off a Thunder Wave, because I am actually, you know, again, we know he's going to go out to this Victini. We know he probably won't stay in, just because no reason to risk getting, you know, weakened anymore. And I'm going to just sack Ferroseed here, because I really just didn't feel that it was too necessary. I felt that I could play around his Raikou easily enough with what I had on my team. And yeah, so I got to Mienshao there. I do get to safely revenge kill the Victini, and then bring my Raikou back out, get more lefties. Always get to freely scout his Raikou as well with mine because of Protect, which is just really epic. And he locks the extra sensor again, so I'm going to go to my Slowbro. And this is just a very free double on my end into my Raikou. Because I felt like at this point in the game that maybe my opponent was getting a little bit tired of not getting anything done with his Empoleon. I felt like he'd probably want to get rocks up to try to start limiting my Raikou. And since I knew he wouldn't stay in there, this at the least gives me a chance to heal my Raikou a little bit up more lefties. And we easily Oko the Empoleon there with a T-Bolt. Quick work, quick work. Now he's going to go Heracross here. And because I know he's Sword Stance, I'm pretty certain that he won't have a way to hit my Nidoqueen because they run Stone Edge, in my experience. Mostly for that last coverage slot, because you really want to be able to, you know, hit some of the flyers in the tier like Zapdos. And he's going to go Raikou here. Now I'm going to make a really boneheaded play, and maybe he just made one of the most epic plays ever, but he actually Volt Switches as Togekiss comes out. Like, at this point in the game, I'm in such a good position anyway, it's quite hard for me to lose, if I'm being honest. Nidoqueen kind of just blanks several of his team members, like Nidoqueen plus Slowbro, wall a good amount of the rest of his team here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Raikou here instead of Slowbro. Now, we know he... Tornadus, I was very, like, certain this was just going to be, you know, Acrobatics Flying Gym Torn. But for some reason, I decided to go Raikou. I have a full health Slowbro. Why am I not going Slowbro? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't really know what was going on through my mind. I think I just figured I didn't need Raikou anymore, so it was fine to make that risk. And yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, we forced Torn out afterwards. Landmark KO. And then as I said, we kind of just wall his whole team anyway with what I have. Now, I actually go Togekiss there versus the Heracross. Mostly because, you know, that I wanted to just make certain that if he had EQ and wanted to predict Nidoqueen, like just the off chance that he did not care to hit Zapdos, I just wanted to make like extra certain that Nidoqueen would be safe. And yeah, it was probably a pretty dumb play. I actually, again, I feel like that maybe wasn't the best play there, me going Mienshao. Again, I don't think it actually matters, because I believe Slowbro plus Nidoqueen beats these last three. But, again, why am I not just going Slowbro? He actually can never force any meaningful progress against my team at this point. But we do KO that. We actually crit by the Tauren. Maybe that's why I didn't go Slowbro. We did kill the Tauren after it goes for the Acrobatics. And then he goes Heracross. His only, like, option is to pray that I don't Psyshock again, I guess. But, yeah, he had no outs. But this was, again, I felt like, overall, I just felt like a much cleaner game, because my previous 4 games have been either me getting just kind of, like, lucky and winning, despite piloting really badly, and the loss versus my friend who just, he got a couple of lucky turns. I'm sure I still could have played better at points because, you know, very rarely is a game entirely due to luck. And then there was my week 3 game, and honestly, that was entirely just me misplaying and not recognizing my win conditions properly, which is tough. But I got this game and I felt like, again, I felt much better about this one, so anyhow. Bit of a shorter video. I just kind of wanted to expose this metagame a little bit to the people, because I do think it's really fun. Is it balanced? No. I mean, honestly, if I were allowed to give my opinion on what this metagame needs, I would say probably just ban the top 4 Pokemon in the tiers. I think Zapdos is nutty. I think Victini is just absurd. I think Togekiss, Togekiss kind of teetering on absurd and not absurd. I think if you were to remove Zapdos, it'd be a lot easier to justify it as broken. I don't know, Togekiss maybe you could argue to stay in there, but Snorlax I also think is kind of nutty. It's mostly Victini. It's mostly Victini. That mod has too many sets, too many ways to just bypass all of its counterplay. It's disgusting. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you guys for watching. It's almost 6 a.m. I'm tired, but I'll see you guys next time. Peace.